Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. John Kelly for Options University on Wednesday, November 2nd, 2011. The disclaimer: trading has been and always will be risky, and boy have the last few days been risky. What you have here are three individuals at the center of a worldwide problem. On your left, Chancellor Merkel of Germany, and on your right, President Sardovsky of France, and in the middle of this whole mess is Prime Minister Papandreou of Greece. And the mess is that the Europlan details came out Sunday night to Monday morning, and as I said last week, the thing had more holes than Swiss cheese and smelled even worse. The debt reduction for Greece under the plan was supposed to take the debt down to 150 billion euros, which supposedly they could manage. But the details showed that the debt would only be reduced to 275 billion euros, something which Greece would not be able to manage. And the market reacted quite violently. Mr. Papandreou called for a plebiscite in Greece from the Greek people to vote on whether to accept the austerity measures being imposed by the Troika of the European Union, or to leave the Union. The polls, informal quick polls, showed that 70% of Greeks do not want the austerity program. But then they asked the second question: do you want to remain in the European Union or leave it? And 70% said they want to stay in the European Union. In short, they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to have the continued loans from the European Union, but they don't want to pay for them. They don't want to do what's necessary. The G20 summit meeting starts tomorrow, runs through Friday. Sardovsky and Merkel met with Papandreou today in an emergency meeting. Papandreou's party has had massive desertions. There'll be a vote of confidence for him on Friday. The European PMI came in this week at 47, below what is necessary for sustained growth, which is 50. China factory orders came in at their slowest level since February of 2009. And this evening, Sardovsky reported that out of the meeting that there would be no further aid to Greece until the vote of confidence on Papandreou had happened, and that the plebiscite had been accomplished as well. And they have scheduled that now for early December. Supposedly, Greece has enough money to last until then. If they don't vote on the measure to stay and to accept the austerity measure, there'll be no loan and there will be a default. And then the markets get a little nervous. The Fed came out today with their announcement from their two-day meeting, and they kept the language of the significant downside risk on a double-dip recession. Only one dissenting vote this time for QE3. They kept the rates unchanged as expected, but they lowered the GDP estimates for this year, 2012 and 2013, and announced that they'll, Bernanke in a press conference this afternoon announced that he will reassess the situation after Europe has settled their mess. But he will support the housing market at some point. So what did the market do? When the news came out, we took quite a hit. We dove big time. But now with the news that there would be some backstop and that the ADP and some other economic news was out, we, after 2 days of descending over 500 points, we climbed back today above this channel that we had been in for the longest time, 3 months. We had finally climbed out of it last week and went sideways on Friday. Got above the 200-day moving average on the S&P 500, and then promptly fell back into the top of this channel at 1225. What a magic number that is. Got above it today and closed above it at 1235, about 10 points. But on that announcements by Sardovsky and Merkel this evening, the markets are down in post-market about 100 points. So tomorrow may be another bloodbath. We'll see. The volume has been increasing, indicating that the hedge funds are getting out, they're not in. They have never been in this rally. The VIX, even though the stock market went up 178 points today, the VIX had dropped out of this channel from 30 to 48. The fear factor. The fear trade was off the table after last Wednesday night to Thursday morning's announcement of a plan for a plan. But as soon as the information became known that Greece would be left with a debt that they could not settle, we shot right back up. We had a 20% increase in the VIX on Monday, another 22% on Tuesday. We backpedaled a little bit today, but with the market up 178, we still stayed above this 30 factor, and we are the fear trade is still on. Gold is responding accordingly. The economic news for the week has been mixed. The ISM index came in and was down to 50.8. 50 is a critical number. The Chicago PMI was lower than expected at 58.4. Construction spending, they thought they'd get 3% increase. They got a 3/10% increase. They got 0.2% increase. The news wasn't good Monday and Tuesday, but today the private payroll increase, the ADP, which is expected at 100,000, came in at 110,000. The Challenger report on planned layoffs came in today. It was the lowest in 4 months. It's hard to believe. We're going to see non-farm payroll on Friday morning. They expect around 100,000 jobs or so. It's hard to believe that under this political regime that's currently in Washington, D.C., that we struggle to get 100,000 jobs every 30 days when we need at least 200,000 to expand and move unemployment down. When 19 months consecutively under Ronald Reagan back in 1981 to 1982, the non-farm payroll came in at an increase in jobs of 1.1 million jobs newly created every 30 days. That's the difference between a socialist political environment and a free market political environment. Earnings, we've had some very impressive earnings. Allstate came in and doubled what was expected. CF Industries in the chemical sector, although this is a match, the guidance was very good and the stock moved up accordingly. Humana Healthcare had a huge beat. MasterCard, most impressive, and moved up about 20 points today. And Pfizer, also a very convincing beat. Now, I've mentioned we have non-farm payroll coming up Friday, and we have earnings on AGU, another ag chemical stock, Alpha Natural Resources, Anadarko Petroleum, Estée Lauder, First Solar, and Starbucks. So keep an eye on those for Thursday and Friday. But now we've got to see which way do we go with this trading. Which way is this market going to go? We're going to take a look at that in the gold member section next.